everyone, and welcome to a video. I know, crazy. It's not a podcast this time. No webcam because my setup is hot garbage. But I thought it'd be fun to go through all of my PSA submissions and just basically tell you what I think now, sort of 9+ months later. After I've submitted them. So obviously a lot of these will not be 9 months. My first submission was in July, so first submission in July, and then there was an August, September, an October, a November, and then a break for Christmas, and then a January and a February submission as well. So they're all through PSA, and I just thought it'd be fun to go through, basically rank them, not really rank them, but like rate how good I think they are now, why I submitted them at the time, why do I think they're good still, or why do I think that in reality it was a waste of time. And we'll do this through partially through sort of like pop reports and eBay listings and that kind of thing. So I, being the neurotic nerd that I am, have a pretty comprehensive spreadsheet that becomes less comprehensive the more and more I got frustrated with wait times. So if we show the spreadsheet, so this is my first submission, and my first submission, like I said, was in July. And so in July I have been collecting for maybe 9 months or so, since I started. So these were basically the cards I collected over the course of 9 months, and then some promos that I bought sealed off eBay. So when I submitted these at the time, it was very exciting. So I'll give you a brief story of all of these cards basically. So Shining Ho-Oh, 2017, I bought a Shining Legends Elite Trainer box when it came out. That's the same promo. It's like one of the few cards I still have from before 2018-ish. And so I submitted that. That was fresh out the pack. Submitted that. So I'll just take you through the spreadsheet quickly as well. So this is the actual value of the cards when I bought them. PSA cost is pretty self-explanatory. And then this was the PSA 9 value and PSA 10 value when I submitted them. So that was, I think I made this a couple of weeks after, so that was in early August of last year. Prediction is mine, pre-grade is the graded gem pre-grade, and then PSA average is the average. Sometimes I round up, sometimes I round down, just how chaotic I am. And then these are the prices, so some of them are not as accurate as they should be, but basically this is just, I used to go through every month or so, starting in November, just checking the prices. I have not done it for this month's. I may, that could be its own separate video, I guess, if people want to see that kind of thing, and if you don't, then we'll never talk about it ever again. So, going back through, so Shining Ho I told you about, Celebi, I bought that sealed, same with Entei, same with the birds, same with the movie promos. The Meganium, Typhlosion and Feraligatr are from the Neo Premium file. There's be some more of those in the next month's submission as well. Boss's Orders is a full art, I packed that. Same with Mega Charizard and the Charizard, both from Evolutions. EVGX is the promo full art one with the white background. Melodic V is a full art from, it's either Rebel Clash or Sword and Shield base. Sonya is the rainbow one from Rebel Clash, I think. And then these Rocket Scizor best of promos, I bought a sealed pack of 8 of them, graded the best 3 in, and sold the rest. So yeah, basically the idea for the video, like I said, is going to be going through and just basically telling you what I think now. So overall, I think this was still a solid submission. So the Shining Ho-Oh is, a card that it's one of the few cards I had left. I had it sealed for literally years before I submitted it. 3 to be precise. So I submitted the Shining Ho-Oh because I wanted to keep it forever. I want that as like a thing that I have, to say that I was collecting back in 2017 and I brought it all the way forward. The Celebi promo, when I bought that, I thought it was quite expensive at £20. I don't know how much it is now. I imagine it's a little bit more. But that was, again, I was initially going to try and collect all of the promos that I could. So I bought a few already graded, and then I was going to buy them sealed and grade them myself because it was a cheaper way of doing it. So I bought the Celebi and the Entei, and I still think these are all solid submissions, even now. The prices have gone up on them quite a lot as well, so you can see that like the movie promos, if we go down a little bit, so the Electabuzz, Mewtwo, Pikachu and Dragonite, when I graded them, the PSA 10s were sort of around depending on which one it was. For some reason the Pikachu's £50, which I find hard to believe, even at that time. It's now by far the most expensive one. They were around sort of £75 and they cost me £8.75 each, so what's that, like £35 ish for the full lot. I bought them as a bundle, so graded those. Same with the birds. Like I bought the birds as a set for £20, so they were about £6.66 each, all in. And yeah, so these were quite cheap, and now they're a bit more. Again, it's hard to track the prices because there aren't too many sales of these. When I did this price data, maybe recently since I did this, there's been more, but I don't know. I haven't checked. And again, I can, but we'll save that. The Neo binders, again, I think solid investment. They cost me very little each. I just kind of arbitrarily assigned them £4. I think the whole binder cost me 20. Well, actually, let's see. It would have been 4, and there's 9 cards, so it would have been, I guess, 36. But I probably attributed more value to the holos. These binders used to be very cheap. They used to be. I genuinely think mine was £20, but they used to be very cheap. £20 was, it's not much money for how old they are. They used to buy them by the box load. There used to be hundreds and hundreds of them. A little bit more scarce now, a little bit more expensive. You can still get them. Boss's Orders was one of the big expensive cards that I pulled when I was just starting out. I also had a few other cards that I sold, so I had an Evolutions Charizard in Holo and Reverse. Sold both of those because I'm an idiot for £25 each. Again, idiot. But it doesn't matter because at the time that's what they were worth, and I wasn't really into grading when I sold them. I just looked upon the line and was like, oh, I can get 25 quid for each of these. That can buy me some more packs. So, it's one of those things where you kind of regret it, but at the same time, like at the time, I didn't care. So, and again, yeah, Evolutions Charizards, I graded these because they were Charizards. Even back in July last year, I was like, people like Charizard. I could maybe sell them. Who knows? The Eevee was cool. Melodic V is a great card. The full art. If you don't have it or you've not seen it, you should really go look at it. Same with Sonya. It was a rainbow. Is a good card I pulled. And these Rocket Scissors were the first kind of attempt that I had at flipping something through grading. Obviously, it's not worked out to be kind of as much of a medium-term thing as I thought, but even when they come back, I will keep the best one, which looks like it's going to be this one here that was predicted a 9/10, and get rid of the other two. So that was July. It's quite self-explanatory. I think it's nice old things, a couple of new things speckled in there, but they seem to be quite desirable cards. So that will leave July there. So July. Again, these were all standard, I should mention. So hopefully July will be back relatively soon, a couple of months maybe, if I'm lucky. It entered the grading stage recently, so hopefully not too long. So I got the taste for grading after July, and you'll see that in August and September, and they are much bigger submissions, and there's a lot more breadth of cards in there. Well, is breadth even a word? I think it is. A wide variance we'll go for. A wide variance of cards in August and September. So we'll go to August now. So initially you can see there's a lot more, and I think I'll zoom in a little bit just so it's easier to see. So more promos to start off with. So Ancient Mew, everyone's got an Ancient Mew. They were cheap for the longest time. They've gone up in price in the last sort of 6 to 9 months. Again, I bought this Ancient Mew. I think I bought it in June last year, and didn't submit it I think I got it sent to my parents' house by accident, and that's why I didn't have it in the last submission. But yeah, Ancient Mew, everyone knows Ancient Mew. There's lots of variations. There's an error. They're all generally quite hard to grade. At this point, I did not do pre-grades anymore with graded gem, purely to save myself, 50p or so each card, which does stack up when you see the size of the August and September submissions. So this prediction column here is my prediction, and then this is my girlfriend's prediction. And we were generally pretty close, and I just averaged them out. And then used this PSA predicted average to get this predicted value. It's, not too complicated, but it's also not very scientific as well. It's just, we're not graders, so just what we thought. So then these Pichu, Entei, and Charizard are from the Neo Premium 2 file. That is another Japanese product. It's like another Japanese exclusive. Again, when I bought this file, it was not expensive relative to how expensive it is now. So at the time, I think it was £37 it cost me or something. Came from Japan. Again, I ordered that to my parents' house as well. That's why it's not in the previous submission. But yeah, so they're very nice cards. The Entei Neo Premium 2 is the Japanese version of the English card in the previous submission. So hopefully I'll get both of those, but have both of those that I can show together. These cards here, the Blastoise Base 2, the Dark Arbok, and the Zapdos from Fossil, I bought a collection in July last year, which is actually what kind of inspired me to get this, to go the grading route. So I bought a collection. Some of the cards that were in, most of the holos that were in there weren't in very good condition, so I still have those just in a binder. Like, that's totally fine for me to not grade everything. But there's Base 2 Blastoise. I graded it because I said here it's in like a 5 or 6 condition. I think that's maybe slightly harsh, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did get a 5 or a 6. But I just wanted to have it, really. I just want to have it graded because it's a cool card. Blastoise was always my starter of choice when I was a kid, and I thought it would be a nice thing to own. Also, I didn't realise at the time, but you see here in January it hit sort of £217, which was like a lot. It sort of tapered off since then, and now it's around about 100, which still, I bought the whole collection for £100, so if that comes back at £100, then that's basically pays for the whole thing, right? Same with the Dark Arbok and the Zapdos from Fossil. These were in better condition, and again I graded those just partly to recoup my cost on the thing that I bought, but also because I think it'd be a cool thing to own some WotC holos that I graded myself. And then we get back into some more modern stuff. So this Pikachu, the Sword and Shield 21, is the one with the Galarian starters from the promo figure box, I think it was. I should say, I think that Ancient Mew, these things here were a good investment on my part. Obviously, if you disagree with anything that I've said in the comments, let me know and we can have a discussion about it. But I think up until this point, I was submitting things that were either desirable for me or would be useful to sell on and would be desirable to other people. So this Pikachu actually went up quite high in price. I didn't realise at the time it was worth very much at all. I just thought it was really cool. So yeah, we both gave that a 9. And the price generally, you can see that it goes up and then dips. So it peaked in sort of like, a lot of things peaked in November last year. Some things peaked in January, but now we're seeing kind of market wide a steady decline in Pokemon prices. More particularly in very high end items, and I don't have any really items above sort of £500. Well, most aren't anywhere near, but say this Charizard Neo Premium, if it comes back at 10, it's maybe worth 500 at a push. Like, I don't have anything much higher than that. So I'm working on sort of like the low to middle end of prices of PSA cards. So like, it doesn't affect me too much. But the prices have gone down generally a little bit. This Dragonite EX is the full art from Evolutions. Again, it's a great card. I wanted that graded. I think I've got another one in here later on. Maybe. I think I packed another one. Ninetales V full art. That's from Rebel Clash. That's a really nice card. Again, that's a keeper. Like, I don't really mind what grade that gets. It's such a nice card that I just wanted it encapsulated to be able to keep. Charizard and Braixen was purely to sell. I won't beat around the bush. Any Charizards you see, apart from this one here, this Neo Premium 2 one, which is my favourite Charizard I think that's ever been printed in English or Japanese. This was purely to sell, and my intention is to sell it. So you might be asking why some are in grey. The ones in grey are the ones that I'm more inclined to sell once they come back. Again, might change. You know, my financial situation might change, and I might need to sell more, or might choose to sell less. So, you know, I don't know. But it's just one of those things where if I make myself the clear boundary beforehand that this is something that I'm less attached to, then I'll be more likely to be able to part with it once it comes back. So again, this is August submission. It probably won't be back until, honestly, August this year. So that's 3 months, and that's generous. It might even be more. So you never know where I'll be. You never know where you'll be in 3 months for the most part. This Shaman Best of XY, and I have to show you this. So if we go to eBay and I press the right button, which is that one, if we look at this card is incredible. So Shaman Best of XY. So this card, if I could spell, the M on my keyboard is a little bit broken, which is not ideal. So this Shaman, which is this one here, was released in English in the... It was released as like basically a Best of XY collection set that came with a full art N and some alternate art, like an alternate full art Lucario, and there was a Karen in there, I think, and some other alternate art full art versions of cards. There's a Veltal in there as well, I think, and all of those were released in the Best of XY, which is a Japanese set, and I really enjoyed this set. So I bought, I think, 4 boxes of it in last year, and this was the card that I wanted to pull the most. So I bought all the boxes, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to open one, and if it's fun, I might do more, and if I'm not too fussed, I won't open any more. This was in the first pack of the first box, and this is the one card I wanted. So you're probably thinking to yourself, well, that's cool, so now you have 3 boxes left. I don't. I opened every single one, and you'll see that later on as we get through to the next months that I basically graded them all, and we'll talk about that in a second. But if we go back to our Excel spreadsheet, we can see that there's more Best of XY, and the reason that I chose to grade the Shaman, I graded because I want to keep it forever. I want that to be a card that I always own. The rest of them I graded for a very specific reason, and that is scarcity. So if we search for Best of XY PSA 10 Japanese cards, it's quite likely that they will have a decent amount. Oh, I've just been offered some. Just been sent an offer. So if we look at the amount of them that are on eBay currently, so you have this Jolteon Best of XY, £100 in a PSA 10. They're Japanese, so it's not unreasonable to expect 10s, right? And when I expected these, you'll see some 9s on the pre-grades. They're very harsh, and I was quite generous in my first month of July. And as we get later and later on, I'm harsher and harsher. But if you look at the prices on these and like the amount of them that exist on eBay, they're very few. So Best of XY, this is just a reverse. This is the reverse holos from the set. You get 1 per pack. Vaporeon, £200. I mean, it hasn't sold, but you know, these are being listed for these prices because they're scarce. So here we have a reverse energy for £70. Like I wouldn't pay that personally, and these obviously aren't sold. But if we go to the sold listings, you can see Camera Up DX, that's a secret rare, £72. Giratina, £72. Rayquaza EX, £150. and so on and so forth. You can read. I'm not gonna tell you the prices. But you look at these, and these like reverse hollows are selling for consistently for £70. I mean, the fact that this Shauna sold for 900, went for a best offer of £900 is pretty baffling. But I actually have that. That's in my submission. I think in the next month. But anyway, so this is the reason I chose to grade these, because these are basically the best of XY. So they're the best cards from the XY era in Japanese. So Japanese gives you high print quality and also Western scarcity, which is a thing that a lot of people underestimate. Not so much now, because it's more apparent. So with the postal stamp promos that are coming out in the next couple of months, and the EV Heroes, how people have been trying to pre-order EV Heroes and it's been very difficult. It's obvious to most people now in the West, UK, European, American markets, that getting these from Japan is sometimes difficult. But there's been situations in the past, like with this Best of XY, where it was not difficult to get for the most part. There was I managed to buy 4 of these boxes very easily off a UK seller at a relatively reasonable price. I paid £100 a box, just for full disclosure. Not that it really matters. They're £250 a box now, which again tells you everything you need to know about Pokemon, where that everything's really gone up. But people just don't know about these things, and there'll always be a niche in a market where people don't know about something, and you do, and that's the kind of thing that you have to exploit when it comes to kind of choosing your battles when it comes to investing. And you'll see later on that I'm not invulnerable to falling for the hype for things to grade, but I felt at this point that I was making very wise decisions based on the information that I had. So if we go back to the spreadsheet, you'll see there's quite a few of these. So there's the Shaymin, there's the Flareon, the Vaporeon. That's the one that's up for £200. I will be honest with you, it's not worth £200. I would not pay that, but it's a very nice card, and there aren't many of them. So I will go through the pop reports in a second, because there's a lot more in September. Rayquaza, Mega Rayquaza, they're the Roaring Skies. Basically Roaring Skies reprints, but in Japanese. Raikou, Best of XY Mirror. So the Best of XY Mirrors are just all the hollows. So I did, 6 of them, or 7 of them. No, that's 6. In August. A lot more in September, we'll get there in a minute. Marvel's another promo, so it's called Porygon. Again, those were to keep. The reason they're in grey is that, depending on the grade, like this cool Porygon, I'm dubious about its grade. So if it comes back low, then I'll just keep it. If it comes back high, might sell it on. This Flareon EX Radiant Collection, I have an interesting story. It's the full art Flareon, not the one with the 3 on it. It's like, is it the full art? No, I think it's the half art one. I bought my girlfriend 4 packs of Generations for Christmas in 2016. Yeah, 2016, and she packed this card, and so this was hers, and she kept it in a sleeve, in a peg, like literally clipped into a giant peg for years. And I decided that I was going to grade it and see what grade it gets, and it wasn't too bad. So whatever grade that comes back, that won't be sold, so that's hers. So this is when I started going more modern, if you ignore the Neo Premiums, because there's a huge bulk of them there, obviously. Sizzle VMAX full art is Darkness Ablaze, I think. I think it's Darkness Ablaze. I really should know, but I just can't remember. I could check, but that would be too professional, and I'm not doing that. These are more Neo Premium 1 and 2. So Neo Premium 2, I did the Umbreon and the Eevee. I don't know why I didn't submit the Espeon, because eventually I did, like 3 months later. Up next is the Neo Premium 1 file. So I submitted just the hollows in July. I submitted every single one. Like the Neo Premium 1 file, you get the 3 lines of the 3 lines of starters. So I submitted every card in the file. The next couple, the next few, were just some things that I got from packs. So we've got the Arcanine and the reverse hollow Arcanine from Rebel Clash. I was initially going to collect Arcanines as well, but it was too expensive, so I didn't. So I settled on Growlithe instead. This Eevee is a hollow from it's either a collection box or a blister pack, I can't remember. It's been so long, I can't remember what half these cards even are. Butterfree VMAX and Stonjourner VMAX are both rainbows, I believe. Flying Pikachu is the new one, not the old one, it's the Evolutions one. SM157 is another box promo. Detective Pikachu 170 is from the Detective Pikachu box. And the Eevee Sword and Shield is another box promo. So all of these are basically graded them because they're in good condition and they're to sell. So that's why I chose to grade those, really. Chansey and Mew, hollows from Evolutions, these were based on when I saw the prices. So there weren't a lot of Chanseys and there weren't a lot of Mews, and they were both expensive. And now I would not have submitted these, but at the time it seemed like a good idea. And when they come back, we'll know. But I personally feel like I'll be lucky to make anything on these, honestly. This Colossal is the gold one. That's why I submitted that. I want to keep that. I know it's up for sale, but that's because I have another one later on. Sizzle V Full Art, Scizor V Max Rainbow Rare. Again, I pulled every Sizzle in the whole set from one box, so I decided to grade them all because I think it's cool. Butterfree Full Art, again, I thought it was cool, but I might sell it. Mega Mewtwo EX is, again, just a cool card. These ones here are promos. Probably shouldn't have graded those, I'll be honest. That was a bit of a mistake. They aren't going to get more than 9s, and their sales value is not very high. So, you know, I'll still make a profit on them, but I won't, you know, it would do amazingly. So I'll just, when those come back, I'll probably end up selling those, depending on what grades they get. I mean, the Entei and the Raikou are very cool, so you never know. Swampert and Kingdra are the Ancient Trait Full Art Hollows from Primal Clash. That's the one. It literally says Primal Clash there. That's what XYPC is, and they're just super cool. And I've recently collected all of the XY Primal Clash, Roaring Skies, and Ancient Origins Ancient Trait cards in a binder. So these are the only 2 that I don't have in that binder because I've got my PSA. Salamence VMAX, it's just cool, so I just graded that. Scizor V Full Art, again I graded 2 because I pulled both. That will be sold. Butterfree VMAX, again, I think that's a Full Art. I'll get rid of that. More Pico, you'll see that there's a trend where, like, at the time it was a great idea, but now looking on it, like, I wish I hadn't submitted it. And I feel like a lot of people who graded a lot of cards have, because of just the sheer period of time, have lost the connection with the cards that they once had. I didn't have much connection with these, but I did pack all of them. So, I mean, there is like a bit of a story to each one. Morpeko V Full Art, pulled that. It's a cool card, probably going to be sold though. Lapras VMAX Rainbow Rare, it's another card that my girlfriend pulled, so anything that she pulls I generally won't sell because it has like that, you know, that attachment to it. Toxtricity VMAX is Rainbow Rare. Again, it was cool to grade. I liked it at the time. It might go. Bead is just a Full Art, I think, and that'll go. And then this Dark Alakazam, the Japanese one, and the Dark Dragonite are also from that collection I bought. Don't ask me why they're tacked on the end. I think I wasn't going to submit them, but I thought, you know, I wanted to. And Dark Dragonite is just cool as hell. Like, it's just a great card. And I just really like it. So whatever that happens with that, I'll keep it. The Dark Alakazam, if the Japanese one comes back and is significantly better than the English one, I will sell the English one most likely. Depending on the grade it gets. If it gets, I think it's going to get a 7. If it gets a 7, then I probably wouldn't sell it because not many people want a 7, but if it gets a 9, I might. And then this Porygon Z Holo, Porygon Z Holo, is from, I think it's Diamond and Pearl. Maybe it's Black and White. I think it was Diamond and Pearl. I bought it for £1 off eBay, and it was in really good condition. So I just graded it. I'll do September. So the risk of this video being incredibly long, I might briefly touch upon Best of XY and then end it here, and then do September, October, November, January and February in a follow-up video if people want me to. I just wanted to basically give like a feel for like why I submitted certain things, do I regret it, that kind of general gist. So what we're going to do is we're going to go quickly, and I will show you September. And September has a large number of these Best of XY cards. Okay, there's a lot of them. And I'm going to tell you why I submitted all of them, and why I still now believe it was a good idea. Is if this Rayquaza here, Best of XY, it's sold for 210 best offer. The monetary value in this instance is irrelevant. So if we take this cert number here, 412 89255. So 412 89255. So if you go to a website here, which is psa.com, psacard.com/cert. So if you search a certification number in here, the general point of this is to, if you put a cert number in, it'll tell you if it's a real cert number. So we put this one in here. The first thing is, does it match the card that we're expecting? And it does. So Japanese Best of XY, Rayquaza EX, Gem Mint 10. So if we look at the populations on these cards, so this is 15, this one. So in the whole of the Best of XY, there are 1,000 cards that have been graded. I mean, if you look at the 10s, there's been 984 10s, which tells you that they are quite easy to grade. But if we go through, and we go through to the different EXs, Sceptile, there's 6. Mega Sceptile, there's 8. This Flareon Reverse Holo, of which I'm grading one, there is 1. Camerupt EX, there's 4. Volcanion, 6. Vaporeon Reverse, there is 3, 2 in which are 10. One of which is the one we saw on the eBay. So hopefully you're getting an idea that the populations on these cards are very low. And this is why I submitted them, is that they've always been low, despite the fact that they are relatively easy to grade. Like Mega Mewtwo has 10. A Mewtwo card that has 15 in total. Like Mewtwo and Mega Mewtwo, there's, well, 18, sorry, it's 18 of them that have been graded in the world from a set that up until, 6-8 months ago was very easy to buy for not too expensive prices. And there's just not many of them. And then obviously when we get down to the full arts, they've been graded in larger numbers, but even then there are not that many. So if we go past the actual set list, which is like 170, so 172, full art Jolteon, there's 40. I believe that's one of the highest. Full art N, 41. Full art Karen, 46. Sure enough, 41. The Shaman is the highest actually at 85 with 80 10s. So the most populated card in this whole set is 85. And if that doesn't tell you why I sent all of these cards for £8.29 each, then I don't know how else I can convince you. Yes, it's going to take a year. Like, yes, you could argue that the demand might not be there when they come back. You could also argue that I'll flood the market, which is something you do have to be conscious of when you do this kind of mass submission. Like, is there going to be people to buy this many Best of XY cards? And that's always a question you have to ask yourself, is like, are there actually going to be the people to do it, to buy the things you're selling? I personally believe that, yes, there will be. And I stand by this as a good both a good Pokemon decision and a good financial decision. If you want to disagree with me and you think that I'm going to flood the market and it's irresponsible, then that's totally cool. And if you want to leave a comment leave a comment below. Just tell me that you think it's a stupid thing to do, but I personally disagree. But yeah, I think that's probably a good place to leave it, with me calling everyone out and telling you that I'm a financial genius, which is not true. I've made, every good thing that I've done in Pokemon investing, I've made mistakes. But making mistakes is fine, as long as you don't, as long as you can financially recover or emotionally recover. It's getting a bit deep now. I'm just gonna leave it here. So I'll do a follow-up video if people want me to do a follow-up video with the other month's submissions and the rest of September. I'm more than happy to. I just thought this would be something a bit interesting, just to reflect back on what I've been doing over the last year. There's a lot of apathy towards PSA, and I can understand why. I'm in the same boat where I submitted these cards so long ago. I just want any of them back. Like, the financial amount is not important to me right now. I just need my cards back for peace of mind, and I want them. But I know everyone else is in the same boat, so I can't complain too much. Sometimes it's just nice to look back as a more of an objective opinion. Now it's been 9 months later, just a lot of the things I didn't need to submit, but most of them I'm happy about for this period anyway. So I'll stop waffling on. It's been 40 minutes, so this is going to be a long one, and I'm sorry, but it's basically another podcast episode, and that's always good, isn't it? But yeah, there'll be another podcast next week. I've already got a guest lined up. I've actually got 2. You might get 2 podcasts next week. You never know. You might be lucky enough. But yeah, thank you for listening to me rambling on about my PSA submissions over the last year, and I will see you all very soon.